Hi, dear students of LLB 5th semester. This is your Constitutional Law 3 class, and I'm your instructor, Muhammad Siraj Khan. To begin with, as you can see that the name of this subject is constitutional law. And there are two terms that have been used. The first one is constitution and the second one is law. And you can see that there is a kind of relationship between law and constitution, and that we would be discussing afterwards. But before talking about the subject, let me explain a few things. The first one is to talk of the human beings and their nature. We know that human beings are social and they live in communities. They like to live in communities. From primitive times, as far as we know, some 12,000 years ago, the human beings, they started to live in communities which were called cultures. And from then after, those communities or those cultures, they, due to their independence upon each other, they learned to live together and they started farming. While living with one another, the population increased with due time, but the resources became scarce. And that was the reason of tussles between individual, of mine and thine. Like the resources, those were scarce, those were limited, and the population that was growing. And due to those problems, they tried to sort out and to resolve their issues. And for that, it has been discussed by many scholars that in order to resolve those matters, they mutually agreed upon a third party to decide among them for their issues. And from then, it is predicted, it is thought that the state was born. The first state was. And that code, there was no law at that time, that was an unwritten code between them, like the authority which was resolving the problems and the population. And that code, what could be the reason for formulating such a code? The reasons were, the first one was of the convenience and predictability. Like the people, when they had quarrels with each other or they have issues with each other, if there is a settled code or a settled law, whether written or unwritten, in both cases, it becomes convenient for them because they can predict the outcome. जब कानून होता है किसी भी माशरे में लिखा हो या अनलिखा हो, कहने का मतलब ये है, तो उस कानून का सबसे पहला जो फ़ायदा है वो सहूलत होती है। सहूलत से मुराद हमारी ये है कि जब आपका किसी के साथ तनाज़ा होता है तो एक सेटल रूल होता है, प्रिंसिपल मौजूद है, दोनों जो है उनको अंदाज़ा होता है कि इसका आउटकम क्या हो सकता है या किसका जो है इसमें जो राइट है या जो उसका क्लेम है वो किसका मजबूत हो सकता है. सो प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी वाज द फर्स्ट थिंग that made it convenient for those communities in the primitive time to agree upon certain rules in the form of codes. Then the second thing, that was definiteness. When there is a rule, it is considered as definite. Definite means that you know, you can specify it. You can tell that yes, this is the rule. And that makes the judge to decide in a proper order with great convenience. And the third thing was equality. We know that not all human beings, they are equal. they have different capabilities, they have different strengths. And in the primitive times, in those times, we know that it was the rule, what we called of the might is right. So those people who were not such powerful, it was in their interest, it was in the interest of the whole community, because the law treated every person equal. So that was the beginning of how the society developed. And the communities, the primitive communities, they started to act upon certain rules which were regulating their societies, and their issues were resolved in accordance with those rules. Now the second, from here we would jump to the term law that has been used in the name of the subject. But side by side, law is another term, that is morality. We know that the societies, the people, they abide by law as well as by morality. Both of them, they have a greater role in the progress of an individual, in the running of a society. We cannot say there is no such single society which is without any moral rules, or that can survive without a law. Now, what is the difference between these two? The difference, it is in their nature. The difference lies in the content. The difference lies in case of when a rule, whether it is a legal rule or a moral rule, when it is violated, then what would be the consequences? That is the third kind of difference that we would be talking about. The first thing to remember, that law is objective, whereas the morality, it is subjective, because morality depends upon the individual conscience. And it consists in the freedom of an individual. The morality consists in the freedom of an individual to think and act as he himself judges something right or wrong. मोरालिटी में इंडिविजुअल ने खुद फैसला करना होता है, अपने ज़मीर को देखते हुए वो फैसला करता है कि वो जो काम कर रहा है क्या वो सही है या गलत है, और इसी को हम सब्जेक्टिव कहते हैं, यानी वो खुद से ये फैसला करता है और उसी के मुताबिक अमल करता है। जबकि कानून जो है वो आपको बताता है कि ये सही है, ये गलत है, उसमें इंडिविजुअल जो है उसकी चॉइस नहीं होती। When something is illegal, it is immaterial that what do you think about it. आप क्या समझते हैं उसे, कानून उसकी परवाह नहीं करता। दूसरी चीज इसमें जो कानून है, जो लॉ है, it is universal, and by universality we means that it applies equally to every individual. It applies equally to everyone. उसमें कोई तमीज़ इस बात की नहीं होती कि उसका स्टेटस क्या है, उसका कलर क्या है, उसका जेंडर क्या है, उसकी एथनिसिटी क्या है, वगैरह वगैरह। लेकिन जब हम मोरालिटी पे आते हैं, मोरालिटी डिफर्स फ्रॉम पर्सन टू पर्सन, इट वेरीज फ्रॉम सोसाइटी टू सोसाइटी, एंड वी नो दैट देयर आर सर्टेन कम्युनिटीज विच हैव देयर ओन मोरल वैल्यूज। तो ये मुमकिन है कि एक काम एक कम्युनिटी के नज़दीक मोरली ठीक हो, दूसरी कम्युनिटी के नज़दीक वही काम मोरली गलत हो। एक लफ्ज़ एक कम्युनिटी के यहाँ इस्तेमाल करना दुरुस्त हो, दूसरी कम्युनिटी के यहाँ इस्तेमाल करना गलत हो। तो मोरालिटी में ये है, लेकिन लॉ में ये नहीं है। लॉ में अगर कोई चीज़ गलत है तो वो सब के लिए गलत है, और अगर वो ठीक है तो सब के लिए ठीक है, और इसी को हम कहते हैं यूनिवर्सलिटी ऑफ लॉ, दैट इट अप्लाइज अक्रॉस द बोर्ड, it applies to each and every individual. And the third thing is that law is definite and precise. Now, what does definite and precise mean? It's the same thing that we discussed here, that law is definite, it is like in the modern times, it is in written form, and you know exactly that what does law say. Likewise, you also can predict that what would be the outcome of the violation of a specific law. But in case of morality, morality has to some extent vagueness. आप फैसला नहीं कर पाते बाज़ औक़ात कि क्या ये दुरुस्त है या गलत है, करना चाहिए नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसमें आपका ज़मीर इन्वॉल्व होता है मोरालिटी में. सो इट इज़ वेग टू सम एक्सटेंट. And finally are the sanctions. When you violate a legal rule, what would be the consequences? And when you violate a moral rule, what would be the consequences? As of the morality, we know that in case of violation of a moral principle, what is the actual sanction that abides a person to act in accordance with the moral rule? That we may call it social pressure. But there is no punishment, there are no prisons for that. But when we talk of law, we know that there is physical force of the state. When somebody, any person, if he or she violates a law, there is the physical force of the state. For example, if it is a criminal law that has been violated, we know that there is punishment, and that person would be punished. तो तीसरा उसमें ये फ़र्क है, कानून जो है उसके पीछे रियासत की क़ुव्वत काहिरा है, रियासत उसको नाफिज करवाती है, और अगर वो वायलेट होता है उसको सज़ा दी जाती है. जबकि मोरालिटी के केस में अगर कोई प्रिंसिपल ऐसा है, मोरल प्रिंसिपल है, एंड दैट हैज़ बीन वायलेटेड बाय अ पर्सन, उसमें क्या होगा, उसमें सोशल प्रेशर है. मसलन लोग जो है वो उसको बुरा भला कहेंगे, या वो इस खौफ से कि लोग उससे मिलना जुलना ना तर्क कर दें वगैरह वगैरह, तो इस वजह से वो उसको फॉलो करते हैं. उसके पीछे जो है रियासत का जो है वो क़ुव्वत काहिरा नहीं होती. तो मोरालिटी और इसमें चूंकि इस पे बहस बहुत ज़्यादा हुई है, थोड़ा सा हमने ज़रूरी समझा दैट वी शुड टॉक अबाउट इट एज वेल. But it does not mean that law and morality are totally different things. There could be principles where law and morality overlap each other. By that I mean that there may be acts which are legally wrong as well as morally wrong. But it is not the rule, like it is not necessary. There might be other rules, like legal rule, that the violation of a legal rule does not necessarily means violation of a moral rule as well. दोनों में ओवरलैपिंग एरिया भी मौजूद है, यानी ऐसे काम भी हैं जो कानूनी तौर पर भी अखलाकी तौर पर दोनों तौर पर जो है वो गलत हो. लेकिन ये ज़रूरी नहीं है, बहुत सारे काम ऐसे हैं कि जो कानूनी तौर पर गलत होंगे लेकिन मोरली उनको बुरा नहीं समझा जाएगा, और ऐसे काम भी मौजूद हैं कि मोरली उनको एक माशरे में बुरा समझा जाता है लेकिन कानूनी तौर पर जो है वो कोई गलत काम नहीं है, कोई रॉन्ग नहीं है, लीगली स्पीकिंग. तो ये दोनों के दरमियान जो है इस पर बहुत सारी यानी डिस्कशन हुई है. ये सवाल एरिस्टोटल ने भी रेस किया था, दैट वेदर अ गुड सिटीज़न कैन बिकम अ गुड मैन, एक अच्छा शहरी एक अच्छा इंसान बन सकता है या नहीं बन सकता. वहाँ पे उसकी मुराद यही थी कि कानूनी तौर पर अगर एक शख्स कानून की पासदारी करता है, मोरल प्रिंसिपल्स बाज़ों का दोनों में टसल होती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, in some of our societies, we have the problem of honor killing. Now, honor killing, it is illegal. It is against fundamental rights. It's against human rights. But even then, if a person, like if he avoids this, in some societies he may be called as with bad names, गैरत के नाम पे कत्ल जो होता है. अब कानून के तहत वो बिल्कुल जायज़ नहीं है कानून, लेकिन हम जानते हैं कि कुछ मुआशरों में वहाँ पे इसको लाजमी समझा जाता है, अगर कोई शख्स नहीं करता उसको वहाँ पे बुरा भला कहा जाता है, उसको ताने दिए जाते हैं। तो ये टसल जो है ये आ सकती है, ये इनमें मौजूद भी होती है। Now we would go to jump in another discussion, and that is of law. Now what is law? If we simplify the definition, like to make it very simple, law means a rule that regulates the external behavior of a human being. इंसान का जो ज़ाहरी बिहेवियर है, जो उसका बर्ताव है, जो उसका व्यवहार है, उसको जो कंट्रोल करता है, गवर्न करता है, उसे हम लॉ कहते हैं। कोई भी रूल। बट लॉ इज लाइक अ काइंड ऑफ रूल, सो इज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। आइन भी है। Now, how to differentiate law from the Constitution, that we would talk about when we would be defining the Constitution, that what does it exactly mean. But before going there, let's talk about the constitutional law. Constitutional law is the body of doctrines and practices that govern the affairs of a state. Doctrine means कोई उसूल जो होता है, एंड प्रैक्टिसेस हम क्यों कहते हैं? क्योंकि हम जानते हैं कि दुनिया में कोई भी मुल्क ऐसा नहीं है कि जहाँ पे कन्वेंशंस ना हों। आपने पिछले सेमेस्टर्स में पढ़ा होगा, मसलन यूके में तो बहुत सारा है कन्वेंशन, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रिटन डॉक्यूमेंट ही मौजूद नहीं है, लेकिन कोई भी कंट्री ऐसा नहीं है कि जिसमें सिर्फ उनका एक रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन हो और कोई कन्वेंशन ना हो। यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका में है, पाकिस्तान में है, इंडिया में है। कन्वेंशन जो है ये इसके साथ चलते हैं और उन पे उसी तरह अमल होता है जैसे कि वो लिखे हुए हों। सो दैट इज़ वाई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ में हम सिर्फ उन असूलों को नहीं पढ़ते जो कि एक रियासत को चलाने के लिए ज़रूरी होते हैं, बल्कि उसमें हम उन प्रैक्टिसेस को भी पढ़ते हैं, उन कन्वेंशंस को भी पढ़ते हैं, उनका भी हम जिक्र करते हैं। तो ये वो मजमून है, मजमुआ है उन असूलों का और उन रिवाजों का, रस्म का, जो कि ज़रूरी होते हैं किसी भी हुकूमत को चलाने के लिए। ये इसमें हम पढ़ते हैं। एंड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फिर उन रूल्स के मजमूए को कहते हैं जो कि इन बॉडीज को बनाता है, उस हुकूमत को बनाता है, उनका फंक्शंस बताता है, तो वो जो है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होता है। नाउ हाउ टू डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड लॉ? We know that constitution is a kind of law, but there is a difference. Like we take them on different pedestals. We take them different from one another in most of the cases. Now, what is that difference? When we talk of constitution, by that we mean a document. Now, what is a document? Document means any symbols or numbers which are preserved, whether they are in written form, whether they are in the form of a picture, whether they are in the form of a sound, whether they are in the form of a video. When they are preserved, this is called document, generally speaking. But here we mean a written document, like which is in writing. So constitution is a document having a special legal sanctity. It is not like other legal documents. It is different. It has a special legal sanctity. Special legal sanctity means that we consider it more sacred than other legal documents. जब हम इसको कंपेयर करते हैं दीगर लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट्स के साथ, हम एक खास तकद्दुस जो है वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन उस डॉक्यूमेंट को देते हैं जिसे हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कहते हैं। हम कहते हैं ना कि हर कानून के लिए ज़रूरी है कि वो आइन के मुताबिक हो, हर एक्शन के लिए ज़रूरी है कि वो आइन के मुताबिक हो। यानी वो जो डॉक्यूमेंट है जिसे हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कहते हैं, इट हैज़ अ स्पेशल लीगल सैंक्टिटी। हम उसे अटैच करते हैं, खास किस्म का तकद्दुस उसे देते हैं। क्यों देते हैं? बिकॉज इट सेट्स आउट द फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ गवर्नमेंट। जो आपका हुकूमती ढांचा है वो ये तश्कील देता है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन तश्कील देता है। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आपको बताता है कि जनाब आपकी ये हुकूमत, इस रियासत की जो हुकूमत है, इसके कौन कौन से इदारे हैं, कौन सा होगा, कानून बनाएगा कौन, कानून पर अमल कौन करेगा, कानूनी किसी भी मामले पर अगर इख्तिलाफ हो तो उसकी तशरीह कौन करेगा। तो ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बताता है। इट सेट्स आउट द बेसिक फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ गवर्नमेंट एंड देन इट ऑल्सो डिस्क्राइब्स द रोल एंड फंक्शंस ऑफ डिफरेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट। हुकूमत के इदारों को तश्कील देता है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू लुक एट द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान, say for example article 41 of the constitution says that there shall be a president. There shall be a president. What it's doing? It is creating the office of the president. Article 175 is about judiciary. तो ये बताता है, यानी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कहता है कि सदर होगा, एक वज़ीर-ए-आज़म होगा, एक लेजिस्लेचर होगी, देयर शैल बी अ सेनेट, देयर शैल बी अ नेशनल असेंबली, देयर शैल बी अ सुप्रीम कोर्ट, देयर शैल बी अ हाई कोर्ट, देयर शैल बी अ फेडरल शरिया कोर्ट, देयर शैल बी द काउंसिल ऑफ इस्लामिक आइडियोलॉजी, देयर शैल बी एन ऑडिटर जनरल, there shall be a national economic council, there shall be a council of common interests. ये मुख्तलिफ इदारे हैं। ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन क्या कर रहा है? इदारों को बना रहा है। जिस तरह के वो मैं अक्सर मिसाल देता हूं, बाइबल को जब आप शुरू करते हैं तो उसमें सबसे स्टार्ट में कहा, पहली जो उसकी यानी वर्स है, उसी में यानी एक लाइन है, फिर उसको आप आगे जब देखते हैं कि खुदा ने कहा देयर शैल बी लाइट। इट सेट्स आउट द फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, इट क्रिएट्स डिफरेंट ऑर्गन्स, एंड आफ्टर क्रिएटिंग दोज ऑर्गन्स और द इंस्टीट्यूशंस ऑफ अ गवर्नमेंट, then it describes the role and functions of such organs. For example, if the Constitution creates a legislature, say for example the Parliament, then the Constitution describes the role of the Parliament, that what does the Parliament do? What shall it do? And also its functions, that how to do it. As we know that the role of the Parliament in our country is to make laws, but how those laws should be made, that is also described by the Constitution and other functions of the Parliament as well. For example, if like we look at the what is called impeachment of the president, for example, it is made by the Parliament, or election of the Prime Minister, or election of the Speaker, or the vote of no confidence. All these are the functions of the Parliament, and it is the Constitution that describes them. Then it also explains the interaction or relationship between these organs, like the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. what would be the relationship? How would these institutions interact with each other? This is explained by the Constitution. In other words, the Constitution also sets or puts limitation on each and every institution of the government. The things that an institution can constitutionally do and those things which it cannot. For example, in our constitution, as we know that Pakistan is a federal state, and that we would be explaining later on that what does federal state mean. The federal parliament has its own sphere of working, and the provincial assemblies have their own sphere. So the relationship, and then, which is perhaps very much important for the citizens, the relationship of the citizens and the state. So there is a chapter in our constitution, for example, of fundamental rights that explains the relationship, that the rights are guaranteed. The citizens are given guarantees in the form of fundamental rights. Now, so this is a constitution, a document having a legal special legal sanctity which sets out the framework of government, and it describes role and functions of different institutions of government and explains the interaction or relationship between such institutions and the relationship between citizens and state. Fine. But there we have a problem, and that is that not all constitutions are in documented form, for example, of United Kingdom. So for our convenience, we would take another definition that constitution means the whole system of government of a country and the collection of rules and practices which establish and regulate the government is called constitution. That is a wider definition of the constitution because it covers the conventions when we talk of practices. So that was about the definition of the constitution. Inshallah, in next lecture, we would be starting from the Constitution of Pakistan. Thank you very much.